Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so glad you're here. Let's treat our time together right now not just as a standard lesson, but as a real one-on-one mentorship session. We're going to tackle one of the absolute biggest roadblocks standing between you and your true potential, and that's modern distractions. If you've ever felt like your own brain is actively working against you when you try to get things done, well, you're in exactly the right place. So, let me ask you a question, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself here. When you finally sit down at your desk, you open up your books and try to knock out some important work, does your mind kind of feel like a restless bird? You know exactly what I mean. You try to focus on the page, but bam, suddenly you're thinking about a conversation from yesterday or some notification you might have missed or what you're going to have for dinner. It's totally exhausting, right? Trust me, you are definitely not alone in this struggle.
All right, let's get into it with Section 1, the distraction dilemma.
Okay, let's dive into this by looking at a kid named Kabir. Kabir was this incredibly sharp young guy from a small village. I mean, he had the raw brain power to achieve literally anything, but he had this one massive crippling problem. Whenever he tried to study, his brain just abandoned ship. He'd get totally derailed by video games, or he'd catch himself doom scrolling on his phone for an hour, or getting way too invested in group chats wondering what his friends were up to. And let's be real, these are the exact same modern traps we all face today, pulling us away from our goals minute by wasted minute. And that brings us right into Section 2, Taming the Wild Horse. So Kabir's father was watching his son basically throw his gifts away. And he didn't just brush this off as some quirky phase. He saw it for what it was, a really dangerous path that needed immediate correction. So he stepped in and gave Kabir this incredible warning. He said, "Son, your mind is like a wild horse. If you do not control it, it will take you in the wrong direction." Think about that imagery for a second. A wild horse has all this immense power, speed, and energy. But without a rider holding the reins, it just crashes through the bushes and exhausts itself, going absolutely nowhere of value. An unguided mind naturally does the exact same thing to us. But there is a really beautiful flip side to this morning. If you can actually step up and become the rider, if you discipline your mind, that incredible horsepower is suddenly working for you. It'll take you absolutely anywhere you want to go in life. A focused mind is literally the ultimate vehicle for your success. Unfortunately, at the time, Kabir didn't take this profound advice seriously. He just kept letting that wild horse run loose. So his dad had to take things up a notch, leading us to Section 3, the water glass test. His dad took him to meet Guruji. Now, Guruji was this wise, legendary teacher in the area known for helping students unlock massive success. He didn't give Kabir some long, boring lecture. Instead, he just smiled, handed him a small glass completely full of water, and said, "Hold this glass and don't spill a single drop while walking around my garden." Simple enough, right? So Kabir takes off, but he hears a bird chirp, so he looks. He hears leaves rustling in the wind. He looks. He hears kids laughing nearby. He looks again. And every single time he turned his head to chase a distraction, splash, the water spilled. By the time he got back to Guruji, half the glass was completely empty. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how perfectly Guruji breaks down the metaphor. When Kabir admitted he spilled it because he got distracted, Guruji explained it like this. The glass, that's your goal. And the water inside is your focus. All that stuff around you, the birds, the laughter, your mobile phone, your video games, that's all simply the noise of the world. And then Guruji hit him with a harsh but absolutely necessary truth. He said, if you do not discipline your mind to stay fixed on your purpose, you will lose everything before you know it. Think about it. Every drop of that spilled water is a drop of your potential, your time, and your future. If you let the distractions win, you end up at the end of the day with an empty glass. That was the light bulb moment for Kabir. But knowing is only half the battle. Now came the hard work. Let's move to Section 4, Building Your Daily Discipline. And this brilliantly illustrates how Kabir actually turned things around. As your mentor today, I need to be real with you. Kabir did not fix his focus overnight. You can't just flip a switch and magically banish the restless bird forever. It takes deliberate, daily routine to rewire your brain's habits. First, Kabir started waking up at the exact same time every single day. Routine builds control. Second, he strictly limited his phone use, basically cutting off the source of the garden's noise. And third, maybe the biggest game changer, he practiced morning meditation. Just sitting quietly, giving his full attention to the present moment, training his mind to be calm and steady. These are incredibly actionable steps you students can and absolutely should start copying tomorrow. But I want to reassure you about the real secret sauce to making this work. At first, it was incredibly hard for Kabir. His mind still wandered, just like yours will. But the true exercise of discipline isn't about achieving perfect focus immediately. The exercise is simply noticing when your mind has wandered and gently pulling it back to the task. Every single time you catch yourself and pull your focus back from a distraction, you are doing a mental rep in the gym for your brain. You're getting stronger. And eventually, all those mental reps pay off big time. This brings us to Section 5, winning through focus. Days turned into weeks, and Kabir felt a profound shift. His memory got super sharp, his grades skyrocketed, and soon he faced the ultimate test, a high-stakes national competition with incredibly complex problems and a really strict time limit. The room was total chaos. The questions were tricky, the clock was ticking, and other students were panicking all around him, their metaphorical water spilling everywhere. But Kabir, he remembered that glass of water in the garden. He stayed completely calm, locked out the noise of the panic around him, and focused on just one question at a time. And the result of that unwavering, disciplined focus? When the scores were announced, Kabir was declared the absolute winner. No way, right? The village went wild and Guruji smiled with such deep pride. This kid who couldn't even read a page without staring out the window just outperformed the brightest minds in the entire nation, all because he finally grabbed the reins of his own wild horse.
So, the crucial point is that Kabir proved an immutable law of success. A disciplined mind will always, always be stronger than raw talent. It beats luck. It even outpaces pure intelligence. Intelligence without focus is just a scattered laser beam. It warms a wide area, but cuts through absolutely nothing. Discipline focuses that light into a beam that can cut straight through steel.
From that day on, Kabir was known as the boy who mastered his mind. And now, students, it is your turn. If you felt even a tiny spark of motivation during our mentorship session today, do not let it just fade away into the background noise. I am challenging you directly. Will you start your next chapter of true success and make the firm decision to discipline your mind today? The garden is loud, my friends, but the glass is in your hands. Guard it well.